Hello, church. I'm Cathy Cralle Jones. I live, serve, and work in North Carolina now, but I am a child born to, nurtured, and sent out by the good people of First Christian Church, San Angelo, Texas. You are always in my thoughts and in my heart. I am so excited about the God-sized dream that God has set before you. I said yes to do what I can to encourage you and to grow support for that dream. 1956 was not only an important year for First Christian Church, moving into its new home on the corner of North Oaks and East College. It was also the year that my parents, Strat Cralle and Elizabeth Weatherford, got married. My dad had come to San Angelo the year before, seeking a new start. His first marriage had failed. He lost contact with his children, and he was starting over at age 35. He lived in a little apartment close to where the organist, Mary Baines Spence, lived, and they would walk to church together. Inspired by a sermon he heard, maybe Dick Cruz or Nemo Golston, he decided that year to begin the discipline of tithing, even though financially he was struggling. He would tear up when he explained that his offerings were returned more than tenfold. That year, on a blind date, he met Elizabeth, a war widow. Her husband, a fighter pilot, Sidney Weatherford, had died when his plane crashed in Korea, leaving her to raise children Robert, Sherry, and 6-month-old baby Sylvia on her own. That blind date and their subsequent marriage created a new family for both of them. And then in 1960, I was born. Dad would share in his story explaining that God had provided more abundance than he could ever have dreamed. I'm a child of the church, and First Christian Church was the church that raised me. I think Mom and Dad left me in the nursery the first Sunday after I was born. I was part of a bumper crop of babies born in 1959 and 60. The sweet ladies who kept the nursery and taught Sunday school, including Mary Ellen Chenoweth, who's not in this picture, put up with a lot of us. That's me, the dumbfounded looking blonde on the front row, Amanda Kahn looking precious on one side, and Mark Webb in bow tie and boots beside me. Marshall Brown is on the far left with Kenneth Barbuti behind him. Lon Albert and Paul Niendorf are on the far right. I sure wish I could remember the rest of those names. But whether named or not, we were all blessed to be born and raised in the congregation. At First Christian, you showed me what it meant to have the table at the center of worship, where Christ bids us come, no matter who we are. It was a great place to grow up and to grow in faith. It was where I learned that women, as well as men, were called to lead and serve, because in Christ there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female. Mother even pushed the bounds, not only by being an elder, but by wearing a pantsuit when she served. I am so excited that your God-sized dream sets the table not only as the center of worship, but as the heart of the campus where everything connects and we are joined as one in Christ. You also showed me that the congregation was my extended family, different than my own, but held together in love. Each of us encouraged to share and explore the great variety of gifts of the Spirit. We did liturgical dance in worship before I even had a name for it. We explored and used the enormous space of the church like it was ours. We had youth retreat sleepovers. We explored the basement and played hide and go seek. It was our shared home where we learned what it meant to welcome others. I love the idea that God is calling you to create an outdoor space that can be the backyard for downtown San Angelo. How exciting! What a great place to hang out. What a great place to provide welcome to people like my mom and dad who, for whatever reason, are looking for a new start or need the love and support of a community to nurture hope arising out of tragedy. You also allowed me to experience firsthand the fruits of anonymous generosity. In the early 70s, when Ron Lowe was our director of youth and music, the church received an amazing gift of a 5-octave set of Schulmerich handbells from an anonymous donor. At the time, I had no appreciation for the cost or the value, but I knew it was a special gift. Out of that gift grew a youth handbell choir that traveled every summer for a decade or more, from Florida to Wyoming and lots of places in between. We played in nursing homes, at retreat centers, at churches large and small, and at national handbell festivals. There were dozens of us who played in that choir over the decades: Susan Archer, Denise Fletcher, Helen Frank, Donna Davis, Bobby Williamson, Aldi Holcomb, Tyra Banks, Michelle Passo, Amy and Laura Mumford, and so many more. Ron was really good at reminding us that we weren't performing. We were offering our gifts to God. I'm so excited that your God-sized vision will allow the sanctuary to be updated, to welcome offerings, traditional and contemporary, to be a holy place of welcome for all. You led me by demonstrating what service leadership looks like. Whether it was Mr. and Mrs. Perky, who assisted the baptism classes for decades, or Amy Pettit, who delivered food and walked in the crop walk into her 80s or 90s, you showed me in so many ways what it means to serve our community. We painted and fixed up houses even before Habitat came to town. As a youth leader, we learned that leadership was not being about being popular or privileged. It was about working hard and trying to be sure that everyone was included. Because of Camp Friendship, I learned the beauty of difference and the joy of service across cultural lines. Jesus said, "If you love me, feed my sheep." You have been feeding Jesus' sheep for decades. How exciting it will be for you to be able to watch the food pantry grow into the storehouse of God's abundance as you continue to feed and to serve. I'm very excited about all of the God-sized dreams that God has put before you. In the story of the early church, Acts 2:17, God says, "I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your children will prophesy, your young will see visions, and your old will dream dreams." I am encouraged by the vision of your young leadership. I have been blessed by dreams fulfilled, and I am honored to do my best to support and to encourage others to support these God-sized dreams. Prayer, words of encouragement, acts of service, and financial gifts are all acts of discipleship that remind us whose we are. We love because God first loved us. We give because others gave before us. I have received so much because of the leadership and the gifts that were provided by others. It's my joy to be able to pay it forward for a generation to come. If you were raised at First Christian with me or nurtured in any way by its graces, I challenge you to join me in supporting this vision. Give what you can, share the excitement, and remain steadfast in prayer. God bless you. and good luck.